I'm sorry, till I have a real intro. We're gonna have to work around the cup of coffee intro. So that will stay here for a while. Today we are going to react to 8 German things that aren't in the US by Kelly Does Her Thing. Link is in the description, and go ahead and leave a like and a comment and a subscription. So let's see.
First saw Kinderwurst in the grocery store in Germany. I had to do it.
Okay, I tried recording a video today reacting to one of her videos, and I said that it was really quiet, but I forgot to turn up my volume on YouTube, which I have done by now, and it's still really quiet. So I'm just gonna pump those up, but you should probably up-tune your microphone a bit more, at least for me.
A double take because I didn't believe what I was actually looking at.
Jeez. Okay.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kelly again, and
I did it straight away, so no comment about deleting the advertisement. I did it, okay? I learned from my mistakes, even if I did it in the last video as well.
welcome back to my channel. I lived in Germany for 18 months and I moved back to the US about 8 months ago. And just as when I was living in Germany and noticing the absence of a lot of American things I was used to seeing, now that I'm back in the US, I'm noticing the absence of some German things. So for today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about 8 different German things that I never see in the US. First up is Spätzle. I learned when I was living in Germany that Germans are not shy at all about mixing drinks together, even when it comes to their beer. And while this isn't unheard of in the US, the Germans do it way, way, way more, and with so many different types.
What do we have? Apfelschorle, Weinschorle, Radler, Bananenweizen, Alsterwasser, Arbeitersekt, Cola-Weizen und gespritzter. Well, Apfelschorle obviously is just apple juice with soda mixed. Soda, sparkling water. Apple juice with sparkling water. Weinschorle is basically the same with wine. Radler is actually depending, but that would be beer with Fanta. Bananenweizen would be obviously banana juice and white beer? Weizenbier? What's a Weizenbier in general? Do you guys have Weizenbier? I guess you do. Guess you do. White beer, Weissbier, wheat beer. Yeah. And Alsterwasser, I honestly don't know. But there is actually a certain difference to some of these beers. The Radler, for example, or the Alster. Going on wherever you are, they can be mixed with cola or they can be mixed with Fanta.
Of drinks. For example, I've never seen an American mixing 2 different types of sodas together unless it's some kid going ham at the soda fountain machine restaurant while his mom isn't paying attention. But Germans will mix orange soda with Coke, and that's exactly what Spätzle is. And Spätzle isn't even the only type of mass-produced drink with this combination. Coca-Cola also makes an orange and Coke mix called Mezzo Mix. And
you don't have that?
Grocery stores that have their own generic brand versions, usually called Cola Mix. I bought this Spätzle.
You guys don't have that? Really?
At a German specialty store near where I live in DC. In fact, You can tell
What?
that it's an imported product because it has this label to translate all of the German that's on the can into English. But you wouldn't be able to walk into a normal grocery store in the US and buy Spezi or Mezzo Mix or
What?
Cola
Really?
Mix at
Okay.
all because we don't have it.
Okay.
In fact, I'm willing to bet that if I walked outside and talked to the first
But honestly, if you see this video and you have never heard of that, try it. It tastes good. It tastes good. Okay, just gonna. That tastes good. Mezzo Mix or Spezi that's delicious.
first 100 Americans I see and ask them, hey, do you know what Spezi is? I would get 100 people telling me, no, I don't know what that is. And also, why are you talking to me? I don't know. The second German thing that you never see.
You know that thing tastes good. Okay, Mezzo Mix is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. I like orange soda and I like Coke. I don't like Sprite. The lemon soda stuff I don't like that much, but that mixed together, that's good. That's good stuff. Okay.
In the US is a TV tax. In Germany, every single household has to
Yeah.
pay a special tax that goes
They are called Rundfunkgebühren, but they're not specifically for TV. They are for the whole. In Germany, it's called öffentlich-rechtliches, which is like the commercial state television and radio and anything regarding that. So internet, radio, and your house phone, as well as your television, obviously. And it's fixed every 3 months, and most Germans hate it. We completely hate it. Because me, for example, I'm using internet, obviously, and I do have a house phone, but I don't use it, so I could probably just cancel that completely. Since we live in the 21st century, we do all have cell phones. We don't need house phones anymore. At least I don't do. And TV, to be really fair and honest, I don't watch TV, like, at all. I do have a big screen right behind me, but I watch Netflix, I watch Amazon, Disney, I watch YouTube, I use it to play, but I don't watch television.
goes towards financing Germany's public channels. Back
Yeah.
before, I think, 2013, only who owned a TV or radio had to pay this tax, but it became too difficult for the government to track down who actually owned a TV and a radio. And then with the popularity of personal electronic devices like smartphones and tablets and iPads and so on, it became too difficult for the government to accurately tax people. So they just kind of did a broad stroke tax, and now
Yeah.
every single household has to pay whether or not you
Yeah.
even use the public channels. The flat fee is €1750 a month, which comes out to €210 a year. We don't have a TV tax in the US. Most of our content on TV and radio is commercialized, and so it is funded through advertisements. We do, though, have
Which is also a thing that these television or broadcasting networks also put in ads.
the Public Broadcasting Service, or PBS, which is public programming. And while it does ultimately receive funding from Congress every year through our taxes, we don't pay a direct TV tax like you have in Germany. When I first moved to Germany, I was told that I needed to buy a parking disc, and I had no idea what that was. This
Yeah.
is a parking disc, and you needed to be able to park in certain time-restricted areas
Yes,
in Germany.
yes,
You
yes. Parking situation in Germany is shitty. Especially, again, in crowded areas or cities. If you're lucky enough to find a parking spot, you will need one of those. Or you can buy a parking ticket at, what's it called? Automat? Parking ticket machine. And yeah, it is depending on where you're staying, but for the most not privately owned parking places or parking slots, you will need one of those. Then you have a certain parking time, and the police will come, or not directly the police, is the Ordnungsamt, which is is an executive department that will take care of minor delicts like parking or parking illegally somewhere and stuff like that. So if you park somewhere and you have 2 hours to park there, you put your Parkschein or your Parkscheibe or your parking disc in your car, so that the police or the Ordnungsamt can check that out, and you overstay, you will probably get a fee to pay, which would be around 20 euros, 30 euros, depending on where you are.
Basically park and then set this wheel to your arrival time, and you're
Yep.
able to round up to the next half hour.
Yes.
Then you set it on your dashboard, or you hang it on your windshield with these little suction cups that I have on mine. And then you have to leave the parking space within the maximum amount of time you're
Yes.
allowed to park there, plus your arrival time. So if you show up to a parking spot at 8, and that's what you set your little wheel at, and the maximum amount of time you're allowed to park in that parking spot is 2 hours, you have to leave by 10, because
Yeah.
8 plus 2 is 10. I was really thankful.
Or you can be cheaty and put it to 8:30 or 9. If you get lucky, you won't get caught. But if you're unlucky, you will get a fine.
For the person who told me to get a parking disc, because I used it all the time, not just in Germany, but all throughout Europe as I was driving around. And if I remember correctly, you didn't have to pay to be able to park at these specific types of parking spots. So the accountability for making sure that you leave within the max permitted time was through the disc.
Yeah.
We don't have parking discs in the US. We usually only have parking meters or pay machines that give out dashboard tickets with the
Yes, we do have those too. These are in general for privately owned parking slot or commercialized parking slots. Not as much as the official and public parking places, but rather in the privately owned ones.
time you must leave by printed on them. Okay, there is a thing called Kinderwurst in Germany, which I have never seen in the US.
Kinderwurst. I think she's saying Kinderwurst, which is like a child sausage. So it is basically your mortadella is the name in Germany. I don't know, Fleischwurst. I don't know if there is a word for you. Directly pork sausage. Pork sausage or meat sausage, but I think you will get that wrong. It's not like a grilled sausage. It's rather like a breakfast sausage, which is cut in slices, mainly made out of pork meat with a huge amount of fat and packed into slices. And the Kinderwurst or child's sausage has like probably little beer faces in a different meat color on there or something, and kids actually get those handed out if you are in a grocery store and you buy meat at the meat counter. Then chances are that if you are with your child or with a child, that they'll get offered child sausage. Sounds a little bit weird. It is pretty weird, but also kind of cute if you take out the part that's meat.
Was. Kinderwurst is basically sliced meat that is
Yeah.
shaped into different
Yes.
forms, like a smiley face or
Yeah, that's one I was referring to. The little beer ones.
there, and it's done to appeal to children.
Yes.
When I first saw Kinderwurst in the grocery store in Germany, I had to do a double take because I didn't believe what I was actually looking at. I've never seen something creatively done with sliced meat before. And it seems to be pretty popular given how much of it is in stock in the stores. And Misha told me that there's a German comedian who even referenced Kinderwurst in one of his jokes, where he was talking about how his girlfriend still had someone to talk to when she's in the kitchen and looking in the refrigerator because all of the meat smiley faces looking back up at her. I feel like
Totally weird, isn't it? Totally weird. Just the phrase, she has someone to talk to because of all the meaty, smiley faces smiling back to her out of her fridge. Wow.
The way I just
Okay.
explained it made it sound even weirder.
Yes,
than it
it
already. We
did.
have all different kinds of sliced meats in the US, but I've never seen meat be dressed up like this. For another meat-centric topic, Germany has a dish called Met, which is
Yeah.
essentially minced raw pork, often served on a roll
Yeah.
with salt and pepper and some other seasonings and often onions.
Yes.
And this was strange enough. But it
Why?
got
And it tastes good. So if you're not a vegetarian or a vegan, you could try it out. I'd recommend it. Tastes pretty decently good.
the thing called a metigel, which is
Yeah,
a
okay,
net
yeah.
hedgehog, which is exactly what it sounds like. You take this minced raw pork and you form it in the shape of a hedgehog, where you have either onion slices or pretzel.
Just look at those things. Uh, just look at him. But to be fair, yes, this exists. This is a thing. This is a thing in Germany. Yes. I can't believe that, but yes, that is true.
Sticks as the spikes of the hedgehog, and then the eyes and the nose are formed with olives. I've never seen anything like it before in my entire life. In fact, I've always been told never ever eat raw pork. So the whole concept of net just completely bewildered me. So much so that I never tried it. I'm sorry to admit it, but I just never could mentally commit to trying net.
Honestly, you will not get ill or sick from trying it. It is safe to eat it, definitely, and it also tastes pretty good. I wouldn't recommend eating it in the shape of an eagle, but still, you can go ahead and give it a try.
It took me 30 years to finally try scrapple, which is coincidentally another pork dish, and it's really popular where I'm from in Pennsylvania. So I think my hesitancy and weariness for trying met could be assumed. But I'm gonna try it, guys. I promise I'm going to try met when I go to Germany here shortly, and I'm putting it out there on the internet so that I absolutely have to follow through with it, because everybody knows that's the healthiest way to be held accountable. I've talked about this in a few of my other videos, but it is something that we don't have in the US, which is a national ID. Germans have a national ID, and it is compulsory starting at the age of 16.
Wait, you don't? I bet you do have that. You can't tell me that there is no passport or ID in your country. Seriously, no. I don't believe that. Oh, it's your driver license and the state ID for you. Okay. Because the states apparently couldn't agree on a design, so it is state related for you, but we do have that in the whole country. It is the same. And you do have to take this with you wherever you go if the police needs to check your ID or whatever. Yeah.
It can be used as almost like a passport for Germans to be able to
Yeah.
travel freely throughout most of the countries in Europe, as long as they have their national ID, and even a few countries outside of Europe. It includes basic information about the holder, like their name and their birth date and their address. And then there's also some physical description of them, like their eye color and their height. We don't have a national ID in the US. The closest thing we have to a national ID is our passport. But most Americans who don't travel outside of the US aren't going to own a passport. So our driver's licenses are usually what people will show as a form of identification. There are some other forms of ID that you can get in the US.
2020 hat auch was Gutes.
See,
Innocent
told you.
Smoothie Plus.
Plain photo ID, but again, it's not compulsory and it's not uniform across the country, so it's not like this national ID like you have in Germany. We also don't have a quiet law in the US. It varies from town to town in Germany, but generally speaking, on Sundays, you're not allowed to do noisy activities like mowing the lawn or using a really loud vacuum cleaner or washing your car except for in designated areas. And I've even heard of some people getting complaints from their neighbors for holding a barbecue or a grill party.
Yep, can happen. Probably won't, but actually it's depending on your neighbors and the place you are staying in. It is also, you shouldn't also do your laundry on Sundays and any stuff like that that can be noisy for anyone, because Sunday is for Germans like the complete relaxed day. Everything is closed. You need to calm down day. But to be honest, commonly people still do work and do laundry on Sundays, but that is really depending on your neighbors. So you should keep an eye out if they are fine with it or if they're even doing it themselves, because you won't get into any big trouble not obeying that law or not respecting it, but you can get at least an advice to keep quiet, or you can get your neighbors angry about you if you do noisy, loud housework or general work or hammering, hanging up a picture, whatever.
This also extends to nights on weeknights, not just Sundays, and then also on holidays. Fortunately, I never had any issues with the quiet law, but
and you won't get into any, even if you're holding a party. I think I've told that or I've said that, but the most thing will be the police called by the neighbors, come at you, knock at your door saying, hey, you should be quieter now. We got a complaint from your neighbors about the noise levels, so please keep it quiet. And they leave you and they let you continue whatever you're doing. That is, if you won't get too loud. If you get louder again and the neighbors complain again, then they will come again, and then they will come again, and then probably stop the party or stop whatever you're doing.
I have some friends and their experience tell me that Germans take this very, very seriously. In the US, we don't have this quiet law. Maybe the lease of your apartment specifies quiet hours, or your homeowners association has quiet hours, or maybe the hotel you're staying in will specify some quiet hours, things like this. But nationally, we don't have, any sort of law or regulation or even social expectation for you to be quiet on a Sunday. In fact, I would say that Sunday is a really popular day for people to go out and get some lawn work done and do chores. So this whole quiet law thing is something you would never see in the US. All right.
Would you pronounce that chores or chores? I would say chores, but I don't know. I'm no native English speaker, so you tell me, please.
Last one, guys. Kindergeld is something you would never see in the US.
Oh, okay.
Kindergeld is an allowance that Germans who have children are entitled to.
Yep.
And I think it's about an average of €200 that they're paid monthly.
Roundabout. That is depending on how much children you have. That's basically it. The more children you have, the more child allowance you will get, up to a certain point. It is a bit higher than 200, but it's around about 200. And you can get a child allowance paid monthly. That is for you to be able to buy food and clothing and pay the rent for the kid, or for your child. Or you can choose the child's free money. I don't know the exact translation. In Germany it's called Kinderfreibetrag, which will get cut down from your tax payment or during your income tax papers at the end of the year.
Depending on how many children, and it's deposited right.
And depending on how many children you have and how many income you have, or how much income you have, either the one is cheaper or child allowance is cheaper or the Kinderfreibetrag is cheaper, and then you get to choose which one you want to get.
Into their bank account. In the US, we don't have any sort of child allowance. The closest thing we have to Kindergeld is a child tax credit, so you can claim your children on your annual taxes, and it can reduce your federal taxes by up to $2,000 per child. All right.
So basically that's the same in Germany, but in advance of that child tax free money, the child, what is called, what did she say?
Child allowance. The closest thing we have to Kindergeld is a child tax credit.
Child tax credit, okay. So basically we do have a child tax credit, and we also do have the child allowance money. You don't get both, you get to choose which one of those you want.
So you can claim your children on your annual taxes, and it can reduce your federal taxes by up to $2,000 per child. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified every single time I post a video, which is every week. Thank you so much to my patrons. You guys are awesome.
Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys as well enjoyed it. There wasn't too much that I could comment about. Did my best. If you have any suggestions or any more topics that you would want covered up, please feel free to leave a comment or tell me in a private message or whatever. I will gladly answer those questions, and I will gladly try my best to explain everything. Also, would it be interesting for you to get to know German taxes more, or the German tax system? Because I recently found a video that was targeting at German taxes, and they are pretty high and unfair and whatever. But I do work for a tax consultant, and so maybe can give you a little bit of more a more direct overview of German taxes and the tax system in general, how it works. But that is only if you are interested in it. Other than it, please feel free to leave a like on this video, leave a comment, subscribe, whatever you do. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.